Hello. Sweet.
I will check.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yep, I hear audio. Definitely audio.
Hey there, everybody. Hello. That's us. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes. Just Wednesdays.
Oh no, stop
Cool.
scrolling already.
What
It's
do we got?
gonna be
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice.
hang on, Stuart, they're saying you're silent. Yep, you're silent.
Ba 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 da, ba. Now everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Sweet. Okay.
That's my bad. Anyway, hello, welcome to the 409 podcast. That's Rob
Put up the
on
hello
the left.
sign.
That's Trevor on the right, and that's ImLividTV.
That's me. Yeah, I'm Trevor. Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us. That's me.
Yeah, and yeah, this is exactly what happens when Anthony goes on holidays. Everything breaks and goes wrong. Anthony's at RTX Austin, if you're wondering.
The lucky fucker.
Dad, we're not allowed to say anything.
We said
I'll
he's
take my
there.
hat off for him.
Yeah, you can take a hat off for Anthony.
Just one hat's off. Just one.
Now he just looks like a really tall he just looks like a really tall plankton.
I'm not gonna say what he
I'll
looks
take
like.
another hat off just to be sure.
Okay, now you look okay.
Yeah, now he looks.
Beforehand, you look like something I'm not gonna say.
And hello, Strictly.
Yes.
And hi, Sabrina. Galaxy,
Hello, everybody.
welcome.
Hello Galaxy, hello Stob, hello
Yeah.
Gabe, hello Limited Night, hello Georgia. Saying hi to everyone who's actually in there.
Disham's in there too.
Hello Dism. Anyway, first topic, which is not so fun, which Catherine knows exactly what I'm going to say, and a lot of people who are on Twitch and have seen any of their tweets will know, is that the dog behind the Twitch emote, Frank-A-Z, has died.
I did hear about that.
Which is really sad.
Yeah, actually.
About
I did hear about that.
Yeah. The actual dog. He's 8 years old,
Yes.
so reasonably old. For a dog.
What kind of dog was it?
What was he?
Beagle again?
I think he was sort of a cross.
Is it a beagle?
Yeah. I mean,
I think
it
looks
It kind of looks like a beagle.
It does. I typed it on.
Yeah, because if it was like a Labrador or something, it probably would be more like 15-year-old.
Yeah,
They
but
live-
the,
they live quite a
Picture of
while.
it.
So
just making sure the nameplate's in the right place.
I'll take my hat off for the dog.
oh,
It's
that's
just, yeah, one more hat. Yeah, we're good.
Still got more hats though.
well, he will remain forever in the interwebs by being the greatest emote ever.
I thought you were going to say people remain forever in hats, and I was just really confused then.
Or hats.
Yeah.
So confused. Anyway, but yeah, that's a short one. We can't really say much more than it's sad. Rest in peace, little beagle.
Hmm.
And yeah, the second one, which will hopefully
You'll
take
need
us
another
to a.
bottle.
Oh God.
Ligma.
Remember, Catherine,
Hello, Magic Snake Man.
not to drink so much this stream. Any other stream? Yes, you do.
Don't.
Anyway.
Not every day.
So RTX London and the costs of actually going by being in another country. So you two might know about this one.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, because Trevor's actually in the process of getting his passport.
That didn't
Because
happen.
he doesn't have it yet. I've had mine since like 2014.
I never
or something.
needed it.
Oh, blimey.
But yeah, so he's gonna have to get that in time, which it shouldn't be difficult. Because like for me, when I went into London, I did study abroad when I was back in college, and I spent like 3 months in London. And it took me like 2 months to get my passport because I also had to apply for a working visa because I did an internship while I was there, and it was like the most painful process. And I can't even imagine what it's like now. But yeah, it's really exciting to actually have him come with me, and it'll be my second time actually going.
Oh,
Yeah,
blimey.
so- Yeah, but I love London the first time, and it's
Hopefully you'll have it
I don't
even
know,
more.
it's a big leap though, because like the flight alone is probably 600, and then the ticket for the weekend I think it's probably like 50 pounds, which is the equivalent of like I'm assuming it's like 80 bucks US dollars or something.
So sort of 50 quid, yeah. It's reasonably about $75. I think I worked it out at.
So,
Okay, that's not
roughly.
Weekend
and then-
tickets are £56.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So and then we're gonna probably stay one night in London, probably in between the 2 days of RTX, and then outside of that, we'll probably be staying with a friend outside of London.
Oh, right.
The other like 2 days, but yeah. So I think the new gaming community manager for Rooster Teeth was the one who I like tweeted about Austin, and then I was like, oh bummer, I wish I could actually go to that because I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, why don't you? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's kind of late to plan for that. She's like, well, what about London? And I was like, what about London?
What about, yeah, I was like, what about London?
I was like,
we
why-
could do that.
I could actually do that. And then I was talking to Trevor, and I was like, can I think of a reason not to go? And I couldn't. I was like, I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but like, it's worth the experience, and like, I'd rather go than to say I didn't, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like also saying like drinking inordinate amounts of Coca-Cola is expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah, because you enjoy it.
Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's like going to extortionately expensive conventions, which admittedly they are, but going to extortionately expensive conventions is worth it because you enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll probably go to RTX Austin next year, probably.
So
And it's a great way to make connections with people that you haven't met in person / ones you actually want to meet. So that alone, like, it's 100% worth it. And then, I mean, yeah, I can meet some of my friends who are over there. Like, Wando from our community lives out, I think, outside of London. Catherine, you're there. So, like, it'll give us a chance to actually meet some of the people we've met over the last 8 months or 7 months in person.
yeah,
So that part's really cool, too. So it gives us a chance to engage with our community and also make new friends in the Rooster Teeth community as well.
yeah. But yeah, it's also it's very, very expensive. But there's also the point of like goals. Like, what do we actually want to do?
Yeah.
RTX, like, what is everyone sort of like people in Rooster Teeth you'd like to meet, non-Rooster Teeth people you'd like to meet, except the Oxcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not mention that. I think London will be probably a bit easier to interact with from RT and probably to the community because
Yeah.
it's big, but it's not as big as Austin.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what I kind of figured. Like, I think because the Austin one is probably massive. Like, I can't even imagine how many people go to that. Because I don't know the exact numbers for it, but I know that the London one only started last year.
Yeah, last year was
So
the first one.
it's still growing, which means that it'll be a bit smaller and it'll probably be easier to interact with some of the people I want to meet.
Yeah. That's definitely
so-
the case. But
Did you
it's...
see
Yeah.
pictures of the podcast from last year? That was insane.
So I'll make a point here. So you said you didn't know what the attendance was. So the attendance of RTX Austin is about 62,000.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's
Um,
crazy.
Now, to put that into perspective, last year at London, wasn't it 15?
I don't
Wow. So significantly
Let
smaller.
me just
by,
check.
like,
RTX London.
it's like a third.
know. And we
Yeah,
still
well,
get a lot of RT stuff. And
That's more people than that were in my college.
So they haven't put it on. They haven't put it on Wikipedia yet. But as far as I know, it was about 15,000 ish. They sold the tickets out in under 14 minutes.
wow.
And this.
That's not bad.
So last time they had 3 halls. This time they're having 11.
So that's why there's still tickets available in this time.
Yeah.
Probably.
And
So-
it's also the point that they can have like 4 times the amount of people. So there's a big
Yeah,
plus.
so
Yeah. So like, there's a couple people for Rooster Teeth I would definitely like to meet. A lot of them, they're a lot more behind the scenes kind of people because they're the ones that like I feel like do the majority of the legwork for the people who are like kind of the faces of the company. And I really like appreciate the amount of work that those people do to make everything function for the rest of the company. There's some of the animators for Ruby I'd like to meet. The gaming community manager, I think her name's Cricket on Twitter.
That sounds.
But she Trevor talked with her briefly on the community site, but she's really, really nice. She just started,
Yeah.
I think.
They've had a lot of
But
new
she's-
people come in.
Yeah, they've been doing some really, really awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
and then I applied to work for for the social media department for their company back. I think it was in January.
Hmm.
And I want to meet their social media manager, Amanda Erickson. That's the person that's one of the people I want to meet. So again, I'm probably gonna try and reach out to her beforehand and see if I can meet up with her like while I'm there.
So yeah, I think the end goal for coming is one, so Trevor can actually experience, like say he's been to London and to experience the city outside of the convention a little bit in like a day or so, but also to like make connections and friendships and stuff like that. So it's really just about the experience more so than anything.
Make sure you get business card.
Yeah, business card, that would be very important. Yeah, I have some. I got to see how they look, and if I need to update them, then I'm gonna update them. But yeah, they're pretty easy to make.
Always worth having.
Yeah, it's always good to have it because then you can always put your name out there wherever you need to. Because yeah, I mean it's a place to make connections, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity, and I think that you got to take it where you can.
Mm-hmm. So
So-
why does my nose always run during streams? It didn't run the rest of the day, and now all of a sudden it's really bad.
It happens,
Not
right?
something I should really talk about.
That's something we could talk about.
Well,
It's not boiling hot anymore.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've heard it was rough here. It's really just muggy, but I've heard it's been like brutal over there, and also out on the west coast in the U.S.
It's supposed to get warm again this weekend, though.
Oh, lovely.
Ah, fuck off.
And
It's supposed to get this
strictly, you're handsome. Over in the comments.
Oh yeah. You talk about handsome.
Yeah, the liver twins are definitely very handsome. Stop.
Ah,
You should
You're all-
definitely watch their stream.
You're all handsome and beautiful.
exactly.
But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go to RTX London. Like I'm actually excited. When I was there, I went to the MCM Comic Con, and I had a blast. It was the first Comic Con I'd ever been to.
I've never been to Comic Con.
The MCM one in London's fantastic. Very well done. And I actually got to meet Shinichiro Watanabe, the guy who created Cowboy Bebop there. And it was like a dream because I grew up like watching that show. It was like probably one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. That was like a childhood dream to meet him there. And it was just kind of, I didn't even know he was there that day, and I was like one of the last people to get in line because he was only there for like an hour. And I found out about it, and they were closing the line, and I just hopped in and got the chance to meet like one of my like icons. I like wanted to meet him so badly. So I was like, I want to go to another convention, and to say that my next convention is going to be another one in London is just really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Cowboy Bebop.
I've been meaning to. I haven't got around to it yet, though.
Highly recommend it. Probably, I don't watch like a crazy amount of anime or anything, but that was like one of the ones that I've watched it 10, 15 times.
Yeah, somewhere on there
Easily.
for sure.
It can't beat Fairy Tale, though. Nothing beats Fairy Tale.
I haven't seen it. Tara's like obsessed with it. My friend Tara, who's also sometimes on our streams and stuff, but she loves it, watches it, reads it, even all the movies. I need to watch it. I really do. I need to read it. Because I've heard nothing but great things about it. And I think, didn't it end recently?
The manga's ended, but I think they're going to make a bit more of the anime
Gotcha.
Yeah.
because they haven't really tied up the whole Zeref thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, so it'll be Trevor's first time experience. Are you excited? Are you excited?
I'm looking forward to it. So it's a chance to connect with people and connect with people that I like. Again, I want to work with at some point.
I think that's sort of a goal of a lot of us within this chat is to work for Rooster Teeth. I mean, for some of us, it's a lot harder than others. Like, it's hard for me because I don't have a huge amount of experience within what they need.
It's never going to happen for me because I didn't know where I can move to America.
I will sell myself.
Wait, if you sell yourself, then you can't go.
Where's the downside
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
I'll buy your body. I could do with an upgrade in bodies.
Yeah, like I mean, we have like a portfolio of like writing work, and we have a portfolio of like film stuff we've done, and
Just
all
show
that
them the
stuff.
Uncharted script. Like, just show them the Uncharted script.
And
That's all I
that,
need.
Really quick.
that was a lot of fun to write.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest,
again,
it would actually work as well. That's what's so impressive about it.
That was kind of the goal when we wrote that. We were like,
Yeah.
well, how can we make this massive epic film that will probably never get shot?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could totally make it if you had the money.
we wrote the Uncharted movie that we think we would want and that fans would want. I was like,
Yeah, and we read the comic book they made, the book they
The
made,
actual novel,
and
yeah.
played all the games and like tried to fit it canonically into it as perfectly as we could. So yeah, we should just show them that massive 177-page script.
Which is ridiculous, but it works so well, and I have played all the Uncharted games. So reading that, it actually works with the style of their talking, which means I can read it in their voice.
and again,
Yeah.
we've written spec scripts for an episode of Ruby and The Walking Dead. So I mean, if they were like, oh, could you actually write an episode for one of our shows? I'm like, if you give me the chance to do it, I could.
I think it's all about understanding the source material.
Yeah, if you understand the
Right.
source material and the
If you're
characters, you can write a story within that universe. It's not.
I feel like it's kind of funny. I've only really like shared like the stuff that I've adapted from other material. I haven't really like shared a lot of my original scripts and stuff. I feel like I kind of like hold them really close, and I'm like too scared to like show people. But like Dead Space was a hilarious one, because when I wrote that script, I actually slid in a point in the script where Isaac Clarke actually plays like the zero gravity basketball game, and I don't understand why I even thought that was a good idea. But
I mean, it
funny.
would look cool.
It would be cool, right?
It would be kind of fun.
Oh, everybody's like dying on this massive shit. Let's just play some zero gravity basketball real quick.
I feel like it would.
How old were you at the time?
It'd be something that would be really funny if like you were making like a teaser and you could like put it like as a teaser for like a teaser trailer for the movie.
Yeah, he's just playing zero
yeah.
ball. It's cool.
Totally normal basketball stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and running off of the Uncharted script, because I mentioned that, the short film.
Ah.
The one with Nathan Fillion in it. Literally one of the greatest creations of all time.
Oh my god.
Wait, what is that?
Oh, I like.
Oh, the Uncharted one.
I was like smiling the whole tearing up the whole time. It was like something I'd always wanted to see.
Like, to
ever since I played the first game. Like back in
If they don't
2007.
even make an Uncharted feature film, I'm just fine. I'm fine. With that. I got what I wanted.
Like I wrote what I wanted. I want to see somebody make something that they're like. You could see the passion and love in that short film. Like that guy, he knows the games like every other fan in that
We all knew
franchise.
Nathan Fillion was going to kill him. Too.
Oh my god! Like why did anybody think it was a good idea to have like Mark Wahlberg or like now apparently the kid who's playing Spider-Man as like a younger, I don't know what
Tom Holland.
Like he's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't a young Nathan Drake that's like
It'd be fun for like,
18,
it'd be
like,
fun,
no.
like for like a flashback,
No.
but not a whole feature film.
Yeah, I could see him in flashbacks or something, but not to lead the
Or
entire film.
how the first game did it. Where you have young Nate Drake in the museum, which was technically a flashback, as you just said. That
Exactly.
sort of thing. If they make films based on the games, then they've kind of got to go canonic, which means that realistically they'd start with the museum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want,
so
like,
I mean, I could see him playing a young Drake, but not for the entire film. I don't
No.
need like Nathan Fillion or somebody that fits the role. Because I mean, what's really interesting is that they actually based it off of Nathan. It was like a cross between Nathan Fillion and Johnny Knoxville when they designed him.
Anything with a cross of Johnny Knoxville in it just works.
It's just great.
Yeah.
But I loved that short film. It was amazing. It was well shot, well
Yeah.
written.
So the fact his voice works as well.
Oh yeah, you hear Drake the second he opens his mouth. Before he even does. The second you see him, you're like, that's Drake. That's him. Nobody else can play that role.
He's like, how do we get this guy a new haircut that didn't come out from the 90s?
Am I right, fellas?
That was, I mean, a lot of the things which I have to say didn't flow as well as they could have, because it is a independent produced short film.
Yeah.
So some lines didn't fit with other lines as well, like the joke about the hairstyle worked really well if there had been a slight build up to it, but there wasn't.
Yeah, because like that's the thing is they only had how long like to really like sell their concept, and I think that the script was pretty tight. I think that it was pretty good. If they had more money, more time, that thing would have been unbelievable. Like it already was, but I would love to see that thing get greenlit for a feature film,
Which
like
it should
all of
do
it.
at this point.
I think Sony is probably they're probably more than likely considering it, because I know that they're gonna be talking more about it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because Is there a Comic-Con coming up where they're going to be talking about it?
They already did it.
They already did it?
Yeah, San Diego.
But I really honestly think they're probably already in talks. They're just not going to tell anybody.
Yeah,
But-
NDAs and that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, they're not-
Sony would be a bunch of idiots if they didn't try to jump on the boat with that.
That
It's
film
amazing.
blew up. I mean, it hit 1 million views within the first day,
Uh-huh.
easily.
I mean, to be honest, and it's probably well into the tens of millions by now.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah.
That's how you make an adaptation of something. You love it. You have people who are passionate about it, and you cast it right and you write it right. Like it just, and nobody has done that to the extent that it needs to be. I think the closest one I would say is probably the new Tomb Raider reboot they did.
Yeah.
That or Steve, who's on our streams on occasion. He thinks that the new Warcraft film they did was one of the other ones.
It was a good
But-
adaptation.
I think it's for
Wasn't bad.
but it's more specifically for fans of the
Yeah, for sure.
franchise. I think that the new Tomb Raider was a bit more for both, which is why
Yeah.
I think it worked really
Again,
well.
I didn't grow up with World of Warcraft,
So I'm not
so
gonna
I was
understand the
I was
lore.
completely lost like during the movie. Like it was visually stunning and stuff, but it's just like I had no idea what was going on.
Because I played Warcraft like once when I was like in middle school. I never really played it, unfortunately. But I have so many friends who play it, so many friends who love it and love the film. I think it was a well-made, beautiful film though.
Oh yeah.
And it's the thing as well. There's...
2015 one.
Yes.
That's on my Netflix list, and I'm glad I'm watching it yet.
I think the point is that there's nothing wrong, and studios seem to think this, that it is wrong. There's nothing wrong with making a film specifically for fans of a certain thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I mean, look
Oh,
at
yeah.
Ready Player One. That's literally a film for everyone, and also the people who have read the book, which incidentally is not that good. But, I mean, the film was excellent. I think it was brilliant.
I picked it up.
We actually, Trevor got a copy on like a flash sale.
Well, no, they had a pricing error on Best
Oh,
Buy.
yeah.
So the 4K copy, which is $30, it was $9. So I was like, "Yep, I'm just buying it." I just bought it.
Because we haven't even watched it yet, actually. We got a copy I think earlier this week. Last week for $9. We haven't had the time to sit down and actually watch it, but we're so excited.
I
you
did
can't go
manage
wrong.
to find Ruby in it.
Really? She's in
Yeah,
it?
she is not in it. I think she might be, but there is a section where you can definitely see.
Is it? Ruby.
So Ruby Rose.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
But they've
that's
got
nuts.
they bought the rights to the weapon, Crescent Rose. They bought the rights to that. You can see it in the in-game shop in the movie.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But there is also a scene technically where she's using it. I think it's literally a frame, but you can
Yeah.
see it.
'Cause that's like that film's like probably one of the best ones where it's like they're like it's all like I don't know you
It's-
call it like
just
product
references.
placement, but also like
It's
like
funny?
references like properly done from what I've heard.
You know
And it
what's
is
funny?
properly done.
I actually auditioned for that movie.
Really?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah.
Because when they originally were casting for that film, they were trying to cast a lead actor who wasn't well known, and so they had like a worldwide casting call for it. So we actually tried out for it, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're actually canceling that, and we're just gonna hire was it Ty Sheridan?"
Yeah, because
Yeah, I'm just gonna
which I
hire
mean-
a very well-paid actor. Yeah, just
Yeah, which I mean, I was like, all right, but I mean, Ty Sheridan's a phenomenal actor, so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I really don't blame them.
yeah, because he's already again. They can look at his other work and just be like, "Oh, yeah, that's fine." But again, yeah, like I wish they kind of would have done like what they did with the new Star Wars trilogy, where they hired like two kind of like lesser known leads.
which needs to be done more. To be fair.
I agree, because like again, you know, you want to start opening up like more actors and get more unknown actors involved, because again, that's a chance for them to take a crack at a role that
Yeah.
any other normal actor could do. So,
The comment.
oh yeah.
Oh.
I get it.
What happened, Joe?
But yeah.
Joe is dead.
Instead,
I'm definitely looking forward to watching Ready Player One. That's really cool that they slid the reference in for Ruby in there. That's awesome.
It is, and they actually paid for it as well. So Rooster Teeth did get something out the deal.
Yeah.
So that's
Product
a plus.
placement.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe's back. So yeah, it's just a
he
case.
instead just died.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. So the next interesting one is: does anyone here have a blue microphone? I'm presuming it's literally everyone apart from Joe.
Yeah, talk about like Blue Yeti.
Yeah. So Logitech are requiring blue.
Yes, we do have one. Ours is a black one.
Yeah, because obviously you can see mine's a Yeti.
Yeah.
Catherine's is a Yeti.
Yeah, I would pick it up, but then it would make a load of noise and stuff.
I mean...
I have a Blue Yeti Pro, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Gabe.
Oh, literally
Yeah.
the only difference between the Blue Yeti and the Blue Yeti Pro is it has an XLR slot. That's literally it.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is what I would need. I love.
Oh yeah,
XLR slot.
that's how you
Now,
get proper audio.
I will say, I do regret just having a USB. I do regret
Yeah.
it because of the fact that we were intending to do a podcast in London, and we are going to have to do some serious workarounds with these USBs because we'll have to put them into separate computers, put them out through the headphone jack into the mixer, which will technically make it a digital to analog converter.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sound a word of that.
It's basically we're going to take these microphones, put them in a computer, put them out to a mixer, and then put them on the stream. It's complicated.
My
Nice.
goal in all of this is just to bring a computer. You do.
Catherine's running everything. I am basically the one doing all the broadcasts right now. You can see that.
I just bring the stuff, you do the complicated
That is a
stuff.
giant mug. God almighty.
Yeah.
With this thing.
Jeez. That's huge.
Yeah. You can fit
But-
all the
But
coffee.
I
in it,
love how
couple
one was like, I hate that mug because it says coffee all over it,
but you drink tea.
and
in
then
it.
there's tea in it. He's like, it's fake tea.
Yeah.
It's a cup of lies.
It's a nice oxymoron. Or
What-
I'm
something.
like, that's fair. It's like jumbo shrimp.
Oh, there's a straw poll.
Oh, no.
How are you guys pretty much going to be setting up a podcast during RTX? How do you guys plan on doing that?
Very difficult.
However we can get it
That's
to
I
work.
was like thinking about that. I was like, how do you do that?
So where are you guys doing it?
We don't actually know.
Probably in the hotel room I'm staying in.
I think it's the point that we don't know because there's not a lot of places that A, will have the internet that we need, and B, will even let us film. We can't
Yeah.
do it in the Excel technically because we'd have to do it in the show floor, which is
And
not
also that would
possible.
involve carrying my
Yeah.
computer
And that
out.
would also involve streaming remote from a laptop, which none of us have apart from Chris. And again, Excel and filming policy is massively difficult.
I believe it. 100%.
We
were
intend
gonna
to do the
stay in the
podcast.
pub, but they
Well,
were
I wish-
unreliable.
I wish you guys could do it on the floor. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, there's nothing to say that we can't like find somewhere within the Excel that we can.
Or we could just do it in the hotel room, me, Joe and Dan are staying.
Yeah,
It should be big enough.
yeah. I think the
Yeah,
point is
then-
if we could do it in the Excel, it would look amazing.
Yeah. That or you can have like 3 people in the hotel doing that, and then another the other person in the podcast actually on the showroom floor or something.
Which
You
would
could
be cool.
You could do something like that, and also limited night out in the comments. We love you too.
Oh yes, love you too.
Oh, what, Philip? What?
Welcome, livid fan.
What the hell is Bofa?
I don't even know what that is.
I know.
Bofa. Stop. What is Bofa?
And why Bofa? Or why bother?
Get out.
Strictly. That's
Get
so
out.
funny.
Get out.
So funny.
Get out. That's disgusting.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
Acknowledgement, livid like me. Yes.
I mean, it's just. I think the point is, yeah, we need to find places we can do it. I mean, the thing with the someone being on the show floor is possible, just with a mobile phone and an app.
Yeah, you could do that.
And then you just link it.
And, yeah, you could call in from the locale or wherever you're actually the rest of you guys are located at or something.
Yeah, it's just like Discord.
Damn it, Gabe.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
Discord
exactly.
through Discord call, boom. But yeah, it's I knew someone was going to take it like that eventually, and that's even worse.
How dare you? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, segueing from that, talking about hotel rooms, is apartments versus hotels versus Airbnb. Because obviously everyone will consider at least one of them.
Yeah.
And as Catherine was saying about the apartment that's completely untrustworthy and changed hands like 4 times when we booked it,
Yeah.
it's probably not the best idea to go for apartments.
Yeah.
Well, we
'cause,
were going to stay outside. We talked last.
Yeah, because like we're probably our friend that we're gonna be staying with. She's probably gonna come with us to the convention, hopefully, and I think we're all gonna split a hostel or a hotel or something.
Yeah.
We haven't really 100% figured that out yet, because we're pretty much gonna buy our tickets so we can say we have them, and then once we figure out, you know, if we're gonna like once we settle on getting our plane tickets and stuff, then we can say we're officially good to go.
Yeah.
But like if something falls through, then obviously, but I don't think it will. I think it's gonna be 100% worth the trip. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna do Airbnb. But it is a great way to get a place to stay.
I used Airbnb a lot when I was in LA. So,
Yeah. Airbnb I've never tried, and I don't think I will.
I'm too nervous about it.
I'm like Catherine. I basically have way too much anxiety about anything going wrong.
That's understandable.
Especially with that.
I've not even tried to. I've not even stayed in an apartment. The one time we tried, which was this year, we've just had so many problems with the place that we abandoned it.
Yeah, you like again. You have to kind of like look at reviews and kind of do the research, and you have to be kind of like. Sometimes you have to kind of take a chance. The one we stayed at was cool because it was like the apartment that we were staying at was like part of the house, but it was separate. So it was really nice. So we had a separate walkway. Yeah, we had a whole separate space.
Which is the plus. Those are the good Airbnbs.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes you find like the diamond in the rough.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Exactly. But so Airbnbs are good. Apartments, not so much.
Yeah,
because I'm talking
like,
about apart hotels here, by the way, not Airbnb.
Yeah, because like I feel like you're getting either like a hostel or a hotel or Airbnb might be a little more reliable than like trying to rent out an apartment, because I feel like it could go up in the air.
Which is exactly what happened for us.
You would have thought that going to a site like Booking.com, it would be reliable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
But it's not at all, because at the end of the day, they literally just cancelled on us.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
no warning, they turn around and cancel. And then they completely rebranded and put the room back up under a different name.
For £500 more.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a heck of a lot.
Wow.
Wow. That's our flight, pretty much.
Yeah, that's more than our
That's
flight.
one of our flights.
I think at that point we just basically went nope and cancelled it just
Yeah.
before the free cancellation ended.
Good.
It was meant to be
That's
8 years in there, but
And at the end of the day, we're now sort of split across a few hotels. But thankfully, and dear Lord, if any of us had had issues with money with hotels, we would have been screwed. I am slightly thankful that I don't find it difficult to pay for stuff when it comes right smack bang on payday. It was perfect timing.
That's good. That's good.
But any other day in the month, it would have screwed me.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I don't have to think about that stuff because I've always got my dad. He buys all the food and everything.
Which is what my parents do, because I still live at home. I still live at home.
And he
Oh god, my hand's dirty.
I miss those days.
I miss those
I
days.
miss those
I haven't
days.
lived at home in over a year.
Yeah.
So-
So I'm paying my rent, buying my food.
I mean, technically, I still pay rent.
Oh yeah. But and at an expense, I miss my mom buying and cooking all the food for me.
Student loans are wonderful.
I miss it.
My mum's not wonderful.
And on that note,
I can't remember the last time I filled my car up with petrol. My dad keeps beating me to it. But he does actually use it more than me.
I think that's a fair point though. If he uses the car, then.
Yeah, that's a fair trade.
No.
But yeah, at the end, yeah. Joe hasn't said much in this time.
No, I've been telling him to talk, and then we got into a kind of discussion.
Speak.
Joey,
I'm
why
being
don't
the
you
visual
talk about
comedy
the
relief.
Visual comedy relief.
Yeah. $1 million. So yeah, it's just a case of
$1 million.
yes. And actually, the perfect segue for that, and I'm going to switch around the layout of stuff again, is £1 million although,
Yeah,
which has been confirmed for RTX London. Again,
as well as always open.
and as always, as well as always open. That's actually slightly hard to say.
Yeah, not as difficult as always
Oh,
off.
they're doing always open.
Always off. Whatever.
Always open, always off topic. Yeah.
Whatever variation they use for the post show on.
Did either of you see last year's £1 million although?
No, I did not actually.
The one where basically they cut out the national anthem, which I think is really sad.
Oh wow.
There was an entire massive great sing of the national anthem at the end, which was fantastic. But they didn't show it on the video, obviously, for obvious reasons. But the Mr. Blobby part was hilarious. Bernie didn't know who Mr. Blobby was. I really hope you do know who Mr. Blobby is, or you're going to get a serious fright when I send you a picture of him.
I actually don't.
Does Trevor?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Right. Send him a
Replace
picture.
all our faces with Mr. Blobby.
No, that's too terrifying. Send him a picture, Catherine.
Okay.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I'm so excited.
How terrifying would it be?
I'm waiting. It already sounds kind of terrifying.
He was literally made as a kid. I'll say it now. This is a kid's show.
Okay.
This was meant for children. I know it was a parody.
Okay.
Those are the best kind, though.
It was a parody, but it was also technically a kid's show. It was.
It's a parody which became a.
Right there?
No, it's Mr. Blobby.
Is that it right there on the screen? Is it like with the dots?
Oh, lovely. Oh, what the heck is that?
Actually, I was going to describe it. It's a parody that became.
It's
not
very
a parody
cute.
anymore.
He's cute until you realise exactly how big that is, and it's actually massive. I think the guy's about
It's
6'5".
It looks like
Oh my
it
god.
looks like the next Conjuring spinoff.
It's terrifying. I mean, Bernie had no idea who that was.
It looks like it's made out of styrofoam. Look at the weird crinkles.
As I said, it looks like a possessed doll thing that would be in the Conjuring film.
It's
That's very true.
like permanently
All I'm gonna
fixed
say is
googly eyes.
All I'm going to
Oh
say
my
is people
gosh.
apparently cheered someone on when they beat him up, so.
Oh yeah, someone actually did sock him in the face at a kid's party.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna send that to all my friends.
It's
Just send it out of context.
Just out of context.
Just completely.
yes,
There you go.
just a picture. Done. Just
What is
Which
that? Oh,
is the
that's
text, he's coming.
that's my Halloween. That's my Halloween costume from when I was like 10.
Mr. Blobby has no place in this world.
it doesn't. It's a cursed image.
He even
Oh
has
my
his
gosh.
own doll.
First there was the clown.
Oh,
then
God.
there's-
Oh, there's a video. Oh, no.
First there's the clown, then there's that thing. What is that? Oh my. Oh wow.
That's
he
the
at the
Mr. Blobby
convention?
song.
No, please don't send
No.
him the Mr. Blobby song. That's just worse.
I already have.
Oh no, don't.
Are you talking
Watch it
about
later. But
I'm totally gonna watch
I'll
that
look
later.
I'll look at it later for sure.
right, so back to £1,000,000 although.
So I was just going to say, I just started imagining Child's Play, but instead of it being a Chucky doll, it's Mr. Blobby.
It is scary.
If they did it right, I'd watch it.
Yeah, but a mini Mr. Blobby. It's even more
Oh,
terrifying.
that would be
Oh,
terrible.
God, yeah.
Didn't he have a family in one of these?
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got a high voice already, so it would just be even higher.
He basically
just have
just
dogs
says
running.
Blobby, 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 blobby.
So
And that's
that's
literally all he says.
You just see dogs just running away and not even hear him.
Oh my god.
He's so high pitched that he'd just be just dogs running.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to £1,000,000 although, and we have actually made some scenarios. For £1,000,000 although, which one of them I was serious. I tried to make last year at RTX 2017 in London and didn't manage to because the queue ended about 4 people in front of me. One of them is Catherine's.
See if you can guess which one.
Yeah, you can guess which one. First one, so £1,000,000 although, which is a lot of money. At any point, within the month after you take the money, your entire bank balance will be converted into pennies. Like actual physical pennies, by the way, and they can be anywhere.
That's really funny.
Like 100 million pennies.
Okay.
And they weigh about 356 tons.
No.
That sounds great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but you could just like walk into the loo. That'd be the worst way. And it would be the worst way to go.
Well, if you have bad service somewhere, you can just pay them in pennies and make them really mad.
Yeah, you can be like that guy. You can be like
Yeah,
that
but
guy. He got a ticket from a police officer, and he was like, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna get back at them." He literally got like I think it was like a $300 speeding ticket, and he got it. He paid it in pennies. He literally went to the bank, and they had to go to like different banks to get the pennies.
Yeah.
And then he brought like with a bunch of people. He brought all the buckets into them and dumped it literally at the office desk at the police
Yeah.
station.
There's a video of it.
And
I'll
apparently
send
he
it.
was like $11 over or something like that.
Yeah, he actually overpaid.
He
and
overpaid
didn't
in
care.
pennies.
It's just like this massive amount going over the desk into the police office.
Which is ridiculous.
I would love to do that.
I would do that.
That's
You could
actually
technically get arrested for it as well, which is hilarious.
revenge.
I mean, if you just dump it, if you just left the buckets, I mean, they can't really like not take the money, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
you're technically paying. If you're obviously like, here you go, you just like toss it at them. Yeah, you could probably get.
I think the point is as well that here at least you can't do that.
Really?
It's not
Why?
actually allowed. Let me find out actually what the rule is. It's about legal tender, but there's a certain maximum legal tender in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, we
So-
don't have that. Here.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
Here we go. So, 1 pence coins you can only pay up to 20 pence.
Really?
That is a law.
That I've seen people pay for
What is-
drinks. And
I mean-
What does that mean? I don't know.
I'm sure
the
there are people who don't
I don't know
follow
the
it.
currency.
So
on
we
it.
have pennies and pounds. That's the easy one to remember.
It's the equivalent, yeah. You're gonna get used to it when we're there.
Cents and pennies are basically the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
because basically when you get to the airport, you're gonna want to like, if you have cash, you're gonna want to like exchange it.
So the point is you can pay up to 20 pence in 1 pence coins. No one in practice does this, by the way. Unless, of course, you get people trying to pay like 100 quid in pennies, in which case, yeah, that's not legal.
yeah.
2 pence coin is up to 20 pence. 5 pence coins is
Really?
up to £5. And then you get like 20 pence coins up to a tenner, which is a lot of 20 pence coins. 50 pence coins up to 10 quid, and £1 coins you can pay anything. So you could
Yep.
go into a bank and pay a 500 quid debt in pound coins. And they have to let you do it.
Yep.
That's actually pretty funny.
So I mean, so they do kind of allow. It just depends on what you're paying.
oh,
Exactly.
okay, got you.
It's basically, it's only legal tender up to the realistic amount.
Yeah.
So, like, realistically, no one's going to pay £1,000 fine in pennies because, it's massively inconvenient for you,
You won't
And-
be able to carry it.
and B, you wouldn't be able to get it. So you wouldn't be able to get that many pennies. There just
Well, yeah,
isn't.
'cause I know most places are trying to phase out pennies anyway.
Mm.
You
I think-
actually
Can be-
do well even have cash. I wouldn't bet you. Someday it'll be all just credit cards and cards.
I mean, that's the point as well. If you, I mean, could you also have it as like would be converted into like credit cards? So it's like prepaid cards.
Forever.
As in like, yeah, the £1 million although thing of like it's pennies, but they're on a credit card, like a prepaid $50 card. You just be smothered in cards.
I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty
Also,
much.
note what's happened in the chat.
there are places that you can actually like get your paycheck on a prepaid card. I don't know why you would, but you can.
Yeah,
I'd rather do direct deposit. That's like why would you want a bunch of prepaid cards?
I have no idea.
That sounds terrible.
I mean, to be fair, people do it in
They
the UK
do,
at the very
they do.
least because you have Visa
Yeah.
prepaids. But anyway,
No, that's not tender.
I would just write my girlfriend a check for it all and have her sign a contract saying she'll send it back in a month. That was Chris. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of doing it.
But then
Next
she
one.
spends it in a month.
Oh yeah, well, a day more like.
A day.
So putting it this way, we got the second one, which is £1 million. Although every time you see someone that looks like you get a clone.
Well, I'm screwed then.
You two would just die.
Just instant death.
Hello?
But the fact is that also counts for the clones.
Oh, well.
So that's the case of you see each other, you get a clone. You see each other, and the clones see each other, double clones.
So it could actually work in our favor.
Yeah, actually, we'll have a whole army of us.
It's just
Yeah,
exponential, though. That's the problem. You just take over the world in 5 minutes.
We don't have to split the money. Though. We can keep it. Just have them take over the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's also the point of would the money duplicate?
I hope
So
not.
so you have $1 million in your bank account, and the clone also has $1 million.
I mean, it could double that, or like, because I hope we don't have to like divide that million. So then, like, all of a sudden, like, I have like 5,000 or $5.
How many Ricks?
Eventually.
50 cents.
How many Ricks and Mortys?
Oh god.
Yeah.
I think it's a point of it would be it's the simultaneously the best and worst £1 million, although
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
because for
I think
you you'd be screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd be in trouble.
You'd be in
Yeah.
trouble very, very quickly.
I already have him.
Yeah, I mean it's just a point of view. Yeah, and then I think the last one, I think it's worded in the best way possible, which I found from someone, is every room you go into for the rest of your life has the exact opposite amount of light than you need. So if you walk into, it's such a weird wording, but I love it.
And as I
Yeah.
pointed out, if you need halfway between light and dark, so you get halfway between dark and light. Or I worded it better now.
It's actually more philosophical than £1 million, although if you think about it. It's a very interesting one because it's like the exact opposite amount of light you need. Well, then you just start going into things needing the opposite in what you need, so therefore it gives you what you want.
So
Yeah,
I'm basically
exactly.
going to be a cave dweller.
Yeah, which means your cave would then just be full of sunlight.
Oh.
I think that's the problem. If you go into a cave because you want to be in the dark, it's going to be light.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just have to think reverse psychology every time I go anywhere.
Yeah.
I
I
can
would.
do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
It's doable. Yeah.
I
Oh my
can see
god!
that.
Imagine a film set.
I mean,
that sounds horrifying.
Oh god, you'd forget one time and all the lights would go out.
yeah. I'd have to leave the room and come back and fix it.
Yeah, just walk out the room whilst they're shooting, and just come back afterwards.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, it was just a few that we came up with. I mean, the pennies one, I'm probably going to actually put forward to actually say that when I'm at the panel.
That one's pretty good. I like that. I like all of them.
I would like to see them try and film something to do with £1 million in pennies, because they always try and. Have we lost Livet? No, they're back. Sorry, you disappeared for a second there, guys. Are they there?
Okay, we're good. We're
You
good.
good?
Okay.
You good?
That's- Yeah.
Good. This is the problem with having calls going between the US and the UK.
I'm amazed how well it's held up.
It's held up pretty well.
Yeah.
I've only died twice.
So here's a question for you.
You're gonna go
How
first?
much does alcohol cost where you are?
Depends on.
Say a can of beer.
I guess.
Say a pint of beer, sorry. Well, what's that to you? Is a pint?
You mean like at like a pub or something?
Yeah.
Pint
of beer.
It depends if it's. I said,
Probably somewhere between $4 to $8, probably.
it depends because it depends on what kind you're getting. If it's like a dark IPA or a stout, maybe.
Yeah, say IPA.
An IPA is probably like $5 or $6, maybe. I'd say.
So you're looking at $5-6. So let's say $6 in pounds. You're looking at about the same as here, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
£4.57 a pint. In London, it's about £6 a pint, and that's for lager. That's just
Yeah,
for
so
lager.
if-
That's like Foster's or something similar, but
Yeah. Then like a glass of wine at a restaurant's probably like $12 or something. crazy.
blimey. Okay, your wine is expensive. Jesus.
You can
Yeah,
get a bottle
but then
of
you
it.
can get a bottle at a store for about the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing here as well.
Yeah, so it's like you go there for the experience to like sit and chat over something, but then like you could get so much cheaper if you just go to a store and then like sit at home with friends or something instead.
until
Which sounds a lot sadder, but actually it's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, so it's all situational.
Exactly.
But
and
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
The fuel is what I love. Or
Yeah,
hate.
so I don't think anything's unreasonably expensive or anything, but like here in Massachusetts, like there's tax on it here. So,
right.
So you go and buy like I don't know, a 6-pack for I don't know, $10, and
Oh, I get your point now.
yeah, and then you pay tax, so you pay an extra $2.50 or something.
This is the one thing I can't understand about America, and I will never get, is that you don't put your tax on the price label.
Yep, nope, they don't.
I just find that so weird because we're so used to having value-added tax. So you literally walk into a store and it says, "This is the amount you pay."
What it says, yeah.
But like, I think that they're not. I think that they're not allowed to pay tax certain items. I don't know if it's clothing or.
We have the same. It's just not on there.
So
Yeah.
if we want stuff that's tax free, we just put it.
Yeah, so literally we go 10 minutes north across the border to New Hampshire, and there's no tax on like food and alcohol there,
Even buying video games.
and video games and electronics. So you go up and then you buy it for exactly what it says on there. So like if you're gonna go buy a $1,000 TV and you don't want to pay $100 on taxes,
More than that.
then
Probably like 100.
you'll save yourself a nice 150 by going up north 10 minutes to go do that.
I mean, your taxes are actually a heck of a lot cheaper than ours as well. As far as I can tell.
I think Massachusetts is one of the worst in the country, though. In
So
terms
isn't
of
it?
tax.
What sales tax?
The sales tax here is crazy high.
We now have the worst.
I think it's like
tax in
7%.
It's something high. It's something great, like pretty
So
high.
7% to you is probably high. So that's ridiculously low to us.
Isn't
Yeah.
that like 12?
Our value-added tax is 22%.
It's 22. Wow.
Our tax is 22% on TVs. So say you want $1,000 TV, you pay 20% tax on it.
Oh.
So you're looking at what 1,000 times by 0.2. So you're looking at about 200 quid.
Plus the TV tax, right?
It's literally that. VAT just is massive. But then, of course, you've got BBC, you've got ITV, you've got the license fee and all that crap.
And if you don't pay it, they'll send the TV vans after you.
Yeah.
I mean, they
But-
won't, but yeah.
Okay, Joe, you can.
What you guys pay for taxes goes to stuff that actually helps people and stuff like that. You know.
No.
Does it really?
Well, I mean, here
should.
it's like it's like really bad.
That's a long topic.
Like our
Yeah.
taxes are low, but then like there's so many other parts of our system that just function so horribly.
Like the healthcare system, but let's not go there.
It's great. I love it. I love paying
Political.
out of pocket for health insurance to pay more when I have to go to the doctor.
It's.
That's the reason I
okay,
would
but
never
it's
move.
okay.
So dumb.
It's fine.
So dumb.
I think that's the point Catherine was making as well. It's the reason that she can never live in the US, because she just you'd be dead within a month.
Oh, I want to
Yeah.
move out. Don't worry. I wish if I could move to Canada or something.
I am intending
Right.
to move to Canada.
Because I have friends who rave about living.
It's basically the UK, but way nicer.
I'm just gonna move south to Southampton.
It's the UK without Theresa May. Which,
Hey,
Oh, I'm
exactly.
going now.
Exactly.
I'm getting the plane now.
yeah, it's the UK without Theresa May, which to be fair is good. And I don't agree with a few things Trudeau does, but
Oh,
he's
I'm-
better than what we've got.
I'd go to Vancouver.
I mean, I've never been to Canada. I intend to.
Me either. It's like a drive north.
Yep.
I don't know
Couple
why.
hours.
I should go.
Yeah, I think the point with Catherine as well is if Catherine went into the US, she'd be broke within about a minute.
my father would be.
From the US healthcare system, it's good for certain people.
Yes, it is.
It's great if you have a lot of money.
People who don't get ill.
Yeah.
Just got the idea. Just you walk off the plane. Ah, America, and you fall all the way down the stairs.
American healthcare.
Basically, the only way to have good healthcare is to have somebody, a parent or somebody who can afford it, or it's included in your parents' well-paid jobs, or you get a job that hasn't included.
If you're-
Otherwise, you're screwed.
If you're our age and you want healthcare, your healthcare is don't get sick.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
And that
don't
is
get
the.
sick.
I mean, that should just be the US healthcare slogan.
It is.
Yeah. Like literally.
You want healthcare? Don't get sick.
Yeah,
Come
is
to
don't
America.
get sick, and you won't have to pay. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be great.
I mean, yeah. Thank goodness we're talking about healthcare and not another subject of the US. But I mean,
Welcome to
That's
America.
fair.
It's like,
You stays.
yeah, literally, it's like you know, you have like a very cheap healthcare, for example, and even then, like you know, just to have it, and then if I have to go to the hospital, it's $100. If I have to go in an ambulance, it's like $700.
which
I'm
is
like,
mad.
I'm like, if I'm bleeding out, put me in your car and drive me there, because I'm not paying $700.
At the end of the day, this is where the thing about people getting driven to hospital whilst having birth comes from.
Yep.
Because
literally.
here, if that happens, you just do it in an emergency. In the US, it's actually the most affordable way
It is.
to drive someone to the hospital. Because if you take I mean, like, to be fair, us with ambulances, we can call an ambulance technically and get it for technically free. But
Yeah.
the point is, we have to wait 4 hours for anything non-emergency.
Which is understandable.
Which
I
is
guess.
understandable, but for emergency, you're looking at tops 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For us, an ambulance is basically a very expensive Uber.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive Uber ride.
$5 in gas to get there, or $700. Make your choice.
It's got some premiums, but you know there's some nice benefits in there. You know, maybe get some free music.
To be fair, I get Stob's point there. It's like, we have a great healthcare system in the UK, but people do abuse it to hell.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sure.
as you mentioned, people getting prescriptions for paracetamol.
Yeah, prescriptions for paracetamol.
That pisses me off so much. I have to use paracetamol a lot. I don't get prescription for it. It's like stupidly cheap anyway.
I think the
Although,
cheapest...
What pisses me off the most about that is
It's
there's
called
a
drug
limit.
card.
There's a limit to how much paracetamol, ibuprofen you can buy in one go.
Which makes sense.
For people who are trying to overdose, for those of us who actually need it and are trying to stock up, rather than having to go to a shop several times a week or once or twice a week, I don't know. Either you can just do it in separate.
Go to one store, buy it. Go to the next store, buy it. Go to the next store.
Yeah, because like here, I could go buy 10 bottles at the store and no one would blink an eye.
And that's why your healthcare system, in a way, is actually better in many ways. You have less regulations on what you can and can't buy.
We used to be able to do that, but it's because of people can't be trusted not to overdose.
Yeah,
If
it
they
was.
can't overdose, they're gonna just go to different shops.
Yeah.
If you actually need painkillers.
At the end of the day, our pharmacies are slightly broken.
It's all great.
That's all relative.
It's all fun and happy and sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows everywhere. But I mean,
Love
yeah.
it.
Away from really depressing medical stuff, which is very depressing because then we realise just how crap everything is. So I'm actually going to move on to one, and we're actually putting up to the close to the end of the podcast, so we're coming on to the last topic.
Okay.
And that's volley.
Ah, yes.
Because it needs to be talked about. Because it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
So, I mean, the point is as well, like, what are the plans from now?
Yeah.
Considering
this whole project's been a huge process. It's just been exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it came from an idea in January, right when we were starting streaming. Which I mean, both these things were the greatest decisions I ever made. But we wrote the script. We pretty much spent the entire time working on casting. Trying to get connections with City Hall and the school, and basically so we could get like every piece together, the location, the camera people, the lighting people, and that was my job, and all of it came out of my pocket. I spent almost $1,500 out of my pocket to do it, but that you have to make an investment on something that you're passionate about and create something. If you want to be a creator, you can't be eating other people's content. I mean, I love watching movies and watching TV, but I don't spend as much time as so many other people that I know, because so they're always like, oh, haven't you seen this? I'm like, no. They're like, why? It's like, because I'm so busy trying to make other things and writing.
Yeah.
So I have to really pick and choose what I want to watch because I only get so much time to do it. But basically, the next step in the process with that is we've made the teaser. People loved it. It's really putting your money where your mouth is and supporting it is really the most difficult thing, because I've had so many people that I know, even just on my Facebook, I've 100 people, 200 people are like, oh, it's amazing. I'm like, yeah, you should help me make it. Give me $5, or something like that. I don't want to say that, but it's like one $5 here, $5 there from one person to make all the difference in getting the budget together.
$1 helps
Literally,
at the end of the day.
Or even just sharing it so it gets out to more people.
I mean, that's the thing. What people don't realise is you can support someone non-monetarily.
Yeah.
It is a thing. You share it to people, even if you just say, "Hey, look at this cool thing. Go and watch the teaser for it." It will at least make people interested in it. If you, it's just a case of,
So I mean, we've already made about $2,000. We ideally want to get 8. I mean, if we get half that, I mean, we could probably still pull it together. Just have a lot of people just not get paid at all making it. We'll have to split it up a bit more.
Yeah.
But this weekend, or actually Friday, we're going to be meeting with the director of the Mass Film Office, which is huge. She's pretty much the biggest film person in the entire state, and pretty much brings everything into here, and every production that you can think of coming from Hollywood. And like J.J. Abrams' show that just shot here, she brought it here, and made sure everything got set up from every 15 different cities in the state. So us and our director are going to go there, and she's going to actually hopefully give us some advice, or maybe potentially introduce us to some investors who could help us with the rest of the budget.
Yeah.
So that's really the big hope. We're also looking at a few grants from some companies in the area, and see if we can make something happen. But I have faith that everything's going to work out. Everything happens for a reason. At least that's how I feel. Yeah. So it's just little steps to make it happen. Because I mean, when nobody knows who you are and you're trying to make something like a creative project, a short film or anything, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're now running to like midnight past 1 minute. 1 minute past midnight now, so... And that's actually, we've gone through all the topics.
Yay.
Right on time.
Lots of fun.
It was.
Yeah.
There's actually been people in the chat for once, which is nice.
There was usually a couple of people in there, like Gabe, Galaxy.
Yeah, it's quite hard to read the chat whilst doing a podcast, to be fair, because...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've had some fun from some of those.
1 minute
people out
over.
there.
How 1 minute over? How
That
dare
just-
you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just playing with my OCD at that point.
Hey, it can make up for how late Liv it is normally.
I know you said that to their face.
It's fine. It's fair.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there was one more subject, which was regarding the Nintendo Switch and how is it actually portable.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
And we found a very and it was mostly about the battery life, so I'll quickly run over it at the end of the podcast. Basically, it's got about 2.5 hours if you're playing Zelda and about 6 hours on Splatoon, maybe, if you're really eking out the power on that thing.
Yeah.
The DS Lite, incidentally, was about 10 hours.
Yeah.
And could go anywhere up to 20.
Yep.
And
Depending on how.
yeah, depending on how much you use it.
Yeah.
And the light settings.
Love my Switch. Love my DS.
Yeah.
The Switch is brilliant.
The Switch is a great console.
I still love my DS.
I think it's portable. I just think that I'm not a portable gamer. I don't play phone games really. I don't play DS at all.
People bought it for not portable.
Yeah, because when they bring like Pokemon and stuff like that, like I haven't played Pokemon in a long time because I stopped being interested in portable gaming.
Yeah.
But they announced this one that I can actually play on the Switch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna sit at home and play that because I like playing on a big TV.
Yeah,
I
which
don't
is
like
what a lot of
I
people.
don't like squinting at a screen trying to like play a game. It's frustrating for me. He loves it, but for me, it's just not my thing.
I really think they didn't push the touchscreen part of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I bought my Switch and then went, oh, I'm just playing. Oh my god, it's touchscreen, and I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
It was just like I just tapped the screen and it moved.
Yeah, I had no idea until months after. My friend was like, oh man, and he like touches the tap the game to start. I was like, there's a touchscreen on it?
It's just the fact they didn't even advertise it as a thing.
They didn't.
And then I think the funniest thing I ever found about battery life was the PS Vita. And if you play Uncharted on max settings at 100% battery in full brightness, guess how many minutes of continuous play you get?
45?
Well, I can see from what you put.
No, it's about 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's what you put on here.
Oh my god.
3 minutes.
3 minutes? That's insane.
3 minutes? That's...
Apparently. According to some reports, 3.5 minutes.
And is that like best case scenario?
That would be worst case scenario. I mean,
Wow,
that's max settings, everything maxed out, but that was on 100% battery, and it took him 3.5 minutes.
Wow. That's crazy.
So that's probably the worst battery life of anything I've ever seen, apart from like Apple products. But I mean,
My phone isn't actually that bad.
Yeah.
yeah, Apple products aren't great.
I mean, the battery life's great when you buy them, but wait a year and then it will be dead.
I've
Yeah,
had mine
garbage.
maybe a year now. It's still...
No, it's not that bad.
Depends how you use
year
it.
and a half. Yeah, it depends on how you use it and how you charge it. But like you're in your last 6 months before you can get an upgrade, and it starts to really show. Where like at one point I had to actually get like one of those Mophie extra battery packs to turn the thing on, so I could get the whole day's worth.
Yeah, as we said before as well, Gabe, it's depends how you use it and depends how you charge it. If you charge it up overnight a huge amount, it's going to wear out faster. The batteries aren't the best. They're not current regulated in the way that a lot of other phones are. So they charge them as fast as possible
Yeah.
with
But,
as
I mean,
much current as they can.
Mine's actually not bad. I've actually had pretty good battery life on mine.
Which one is it though?
7+.
That, yeah, 7 and up, brilliant.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Anything below that, you've got to be very, very careful with how long you charge it for.
I have a 6, and it's terrible.
I mean,
only use an external power thing when I'm playing Pokemon Go.
I think that's
Yeah,
the
you
problem. When
have
you're
to.
loading it, when you're loading an iPhone, it does show that the batteries aren't that big. Yeah, the batteries are...
Somebody mentioned your filling battery, please.
Yeah, it's a case of like Honor 8 Pro, 4,000 milliamp hour. Google phone, what, 2,500? Yeah, it gets more battery life than my sister's iPhone. And
Yeah.
that's the same battery. It's literally the same battery size.
It's
So
all about what you use it for.
Exactly. And it depends how the phone uses it.
Pokemon Go eats up so much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you so for it's also
And
the
don't
software.
use mobile data.
There's my emotion for that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, iPhones are great if you want a phone that does the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love my iPhone though.
I mean, I only got a Google phone because it's Google, and therefore I get the newest part of Android immediately.
Yeah. I've considered converting. It's just tough because I have a MacBook
Ooh.
and
And an iPad.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of like stuck in the cycle.
You're the very specific Apple customer they want.
I know, right?
My iPad was a gift.
I feel trapped.
I mean, the only time I had a MacBook was when my uni gave it to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I then sold it when I left university for about 700 quid.
Oh, there you go. That's actually pretty
So
good.
My phone has a pen.
What?
Yeah.
Is it just Samsung Galaxy Note?
Yeah, because I mean, like my MacBook, I really only use it for like screenwriting and stuff, and music. So I don't really use it for much else. That's what the PC's for.
The ironic thing is, this is what I always used to suggest to people. If you want to do word processing and you want to do emails and you want to do the occasional high-powered thing, get a MacBook.
Yeah.
Because MacBooks, as much as they are brilliant, they can edit fantastically, but after a while they die.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
true.
what the hell?
Huh?
Sorry, I've just seen Limited Night's message.
Yes.
Oh my god.
A sassy sailor is missing his wife at wallet. See, that is awkwardly specific. Has this happened to you?
How do you even make that?
I mean, Joe's trying to do the facial expressions.
Hold on.
Or is that sassy like?
That's a really good expression.
That's probably just being-
Like you're gone, but I don't care.
Maybe like sassy. Like,
I like how that's basically just the Obama meme with a salute.
Just the
you have to like look serious but also look sad.
you gotta be like I care, but I definitely don't.
He's gonna have the sassy look, but you also have to have the sad look.
Surface Pro. My friend has a Surface Pro, by the way, Chris, and I've heard it's great.
I want
like, he
one, they're
raves
just expensive.
He raves about it. Is that the one that you can flip it around?
It's a stellar cheap price to like $2,000.
Yeah, they're very expensive considering.
He uses it for like Photoshop and stuff, but you use the pen and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love one of those.
I would use it for storyboarding for sure.
Oh my gosh, it'd be fantastic.
Because I do all my storyboarding by hand.
Yeah, hand drawing, that's the way to do it.
So like,
Old
it's
fashioned.
funny because when I applied for Rooster Teeth, they're like, oh, you have to do it like digitally. I'm like, but why? I'm like, it looks so much better when you hand draw it.
It's so
Like
efficient.
I prefer doing it that way. I mean, a lot of the old school storyboard artists they'll do it the original, the OG way, like me.
Yeah. A lot of them will do it the original way and then just convert it to digital.
Exactly. Yeah. That's probably the easiest
that's
way.
what I would prefer to do. And I'm like, you tell me what you want, I can storyboard it. I'm like, but I don't know those programs. I'm like,
Hey, they're easy to learn.
I'm like, I could just give you the stuff and you can just convert it after.
I mean, my point with Rooster Teeth as well is the only things I'm really good at are editing or broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm not good
And-
at anything.
And to be honest, broadcast, hopefully, Rooster Teeth will start expanding a lot more because they have the LA branch now,
Yes, they do. They do
which
have
will
one.
require an entire studio team.
Yeah, because I'm actually like I went to school and I actually studied I studied broadcast and editing as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Along with the other stuff I want to do. It's a blast.
Yeah, Gabe, can I just mention one thing? Interns.
As in
It
students.
means you need to be a student
America.
within America, which means for me that's literally useless. And also it's an internship, so you get paid next to nothing. It's the same in the US as it is here.
Yeah. You get paid nickels.
You get paid
Yeah,
literally nothing.
Or
Like
nothing.
we get.
Or nothing. Yeah.
A million pennies.
A million pennies.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So when you're an intern, they'll pay you nothing, or they'll pay you barely nothing.
I have two
And
bachelor's
they'll basically
degrees.
use you
I don't want to do
the whole
an
time.
internship.
I mean, sometimes internships can lead to jobs. Don't get me wrong. But
Oh, for
word
sure.
off, like 95% of the time they don't. It's experience on a resume to go somewhere else. That's it.
Well, if you're a student for sure.
Yeah.
Stuart, at RTX, can I throw a load of pennies at Joe?
That's
Yeah,
the
I'll
face
bring
he'd
it.
make.
I'll bring a penny collection.
I will bring my little bucket and I will fill it with pennies rather than sweets.
Got to start getting ready
A
now.
million pennies. Yeah, just.
That's great.
It's about a million pennies.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I say we, before Joe starts doing some slightly more questionable expressions, that we finish the podcast, because otherwise we're going to run massively over at this point.
Okay.
Catherine, do you want to outro, or at least try to outro?
I don't know how to outro. Livid, you two do it.
Nah, thanks to Livid, I'll say. Thanks to Livid, I'll say. Because, especially at short notice, because it was short notice.
Hey, we're always happy to come on. It was a lot of fun. We're always glad to come on and chat with you guys.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Thanks for having us.
It's
It
been
was
real
blast.
fun.
Yeah,
Are
thank
gonna
you for
be
being on here.
streaming tonight yourself?
I think they replaced their stream with this, didn't they?
Huh? Did you replace your stream with this, or are you also streaming?
Are we also streaming?
We're not streaming. We're just on yours.
No, yeah, I don't know if we are.
No, I don't think so.
That's a
Wait,
shame.
actually, wait, no, because yeah, we actually might stream for maybe like an hour after this.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to find people to raid at this point, whilst we're sort of just slowly. Oh, I know who we should raid. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I saw he went live.
Yep. So I'm going to end the podcast here. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for Livid for being on it.
Thank you.
We are going to go and raid Dooley Noted, who, as everyone who knows Rooster Teeth will know, is Jeremy. Jeremy Dooley.
Little J.
Little J. And I'm going to raid. Hopefully everyone joins the raid, because we want to try and get as many people in it as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next podcast, hopefully.
Yeah.
Goodbye.